The following game has been rated M for mature by the ESRB for blood, mild sexual themes, mild violence, and strong language. What that means is anyone under the age of 17, basically anyone still considered a child, should not be watching this video. You have been warned. Greetings and salutations, I am Outlier, and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today, we are going back to playing Frostpunk. Yes, I got the joke. So, the premise of Frostpunk is that you are put in charge of what's known as the last city on Earth, which is so named because your civilization is currently in the middle of a global ice age, and what few survivors or refugees from the old world who came with you traveled up north for reasons I still don't fully understand, because it's colder up north than it is down south. Yes, the lore does give snippets like that. There's an in-game reason why you're why you went north as opposed to not north, but they weren't fully explained to me when we started, but that's a moot point. As I was saying, you're building a city in the middle of nowhere in the midst of a global ice age, and as the game progresses, it steadily gets colder and colder and colder, and the only way to survive is using a coal-fueled steam generator that is able to heat at least most of your settlement, and allows your people to, at the very least, not freeze to death. At least that's the plan. If you can't keep the generator powered and running to produce enough heat as it gets colder, they still freeze, no matter what you do. And on top of that, you have to deal with various things like having to feed your people, having to worry about news from other settlements, and the fact that they failed, so your people lose hope, which is one of the two major metrics that you are judged by, the other one being discontent. And from what I've read off of the internet recently, I used to say that of the two, hope is more important, because you can have maximum discontent and still run the city, whereas if hope falls, they kick you out. From what I've seen other people talk about discontent, I believe it's actually a case where if you max out discontent, it's like running completely out of hope. But I haven't had either of those two situations yet, so lucky me. So this game is, of course, made by thank you again. Also, on a side note, the final expansion for Frostpunk, On the Edge, came out between last episode and now. Actually, I think a few days ago as of filming. So, this is a new scenario that we have access to. I still plan on continuing the existing scenario of a new home, I believe it's called. I don't know if some of the things and mechanics that were added with this expansion will be affecting the primary game, because it is from the core gameplay. It's not part of any DLC packs. So things may be slightly different from where you last saw in the last episode. We'll just find out. So that being said, let us begin. Okay, so this is the city that we are currently running. It is located in the middle of a crater, which I assume was done on purpose to protect it from the wind and massive snowstorms. This is what's known as the Frostland. This is Winterhome, a location that's been a thorn in our side for quite some time. Our one and only scout team, for various reasons, mostly because I don't have enough people to field two, and I never really had much need for more than one. They managed to eventually get to Winterhome last episode, discovered it completely destroyed. Also last episode, the political faction that we've been dealing with, the Londoners, a group of people that, upon learning Winterhome's fate, wanted to pack up and return back to London, decided to finally leave. I managed to whittle their faction down to 11 people, but that's still 11 people that we no longer have available to aid in the cause. However, shortly after they left, we got a bunch of refugees coming in. Apparently there's multiple groups still out there. This is one of them. And they are bringing with them 70 more survivors. So hopefully with them, the unemployment issues and low labor forces that I'm dealing with will hopefully be... what's the word I'm looking for? Fulfilled, or they'll no longer be an issue. That's what I'm trying to say. In addition to other issues, food is always an issue. Although I think we have enough food to feed everybody for a day. Coal, on the other hand, we are running dangerously out of. Problem is, it's a balmy negative 6 degrees centigrade. And in less than 24 hours, in fact, I think right after the work shift will begin, it will drop to negative 70. And my generator is currently, I think, cycling up to level 2 or cycling down from level 2. But I can't keep everything running. Well, right now I'm currently running a small surplus of coal. But I can't keep, that's with all the workstations offline. I can't keep everything running at level 2 and still get a surplus of coal. In fact, I'm running out. Thankfully, we don't automatically lose as soon as we run out of coal. I do currently have them working on a better steam thumper. Hopefully, once we get that researched and built, it's able to supply more coal to feed more gathering huts. However, with more gathering huts, that means more people that I need to actually gather, which means we don't have enough people to do all the work. However, we are getting 70 more people to help out. Although 22 of them are children, and I did not go with child labor, but still, hopefully, we'll be able to get everything to balance out. So, that's a recap in the nutshell. Let us continue. Also, one thing before I forget, we did discover another walled colony. I believe this place is called Tesla City, although we haven't actually discovered that yet. There's also a fishing village for the scout team to discover. They are currently on their way back to the city, though, I believe. Yeah, because they are carrying 254 units of wood and 1 steam core, of which are resources which I desperately need. Of course, I desperately need every resource now, because this is a balancing act, and it's constantly becoming unbalanced. And the generator is shutting down, which is causing discontent. Because we are out of coal yet again. The automaton can only provide so much coal so quickly. Send out a patrol to lower that discontent and raise hope slightly. I was going to say, apparently don't have enough wood to do a propaganda bulletin, but we'll do that anyway to further raise hope. Is it work time yet? No, not yet. Okay.
No time for haste. We've got work to do.
Alright, so the steam generator powers up because it's now work day. And which uses, of course, more coal. However, thankfully we are now gathering more coal than, well, we definitely need. Well, all the heaters turned off, so that's not helpful. I would like it to run at level 2 heat on account of the temperature gauge has pretty much everybody chilly. In fact, let's actually turn on everybody's heaters. But as you can see, consumption's exceeding. Yeah, right now consumption's practically exceeding demand. Now it's equal to demand. Alright, so Scout Unit 1 has returned safely to the city. This is good. Go to the fishing village. Should take, what, say, 2 days and 2 hours. That's so severe frostbite. Someone had to have a limb removed. Which is never a good sign. Because now they can't work until I get a prosthesis full. What was that? Exemplary behavior, sir. A group of people found inspiration in their work under the guidance of a foreman and have decided to try organizing the workplace on their own. Spirit, motivation are exemplary today. Keep up the good work. Finally, some slightly good news. Yay us. Alright, so I need engineers for the workshop. Apparently now I have 15. Of course, I thought I needed 10. It turns out I don't actually need 10. Alright, so refugees from the Frostland. A huge crowd of people has reached our city. Many of them are sick. This is some kind of enormous weather anomaly is coming our way, and they'll die without our help. We'd never have survived. Thank our lucky stars that the Polar Explorer Nansen warned us about the disaster and told us to evacuate. Please let us in. And so the options are everyone's welcome. 70 people, 30 of them ill, will enter our city. Discontent will rise. Hope will also rise. Only the healthy ones, which is 40 people, will enter the city. Discontent will rise slightly, and what was that? Hope will fall slightly, or send them on their way, which will just simply cause hope to fall. So this is the refugee group that I saw. Apparently, half of them are sick, which means they won't be able to do anything right off the bat. However, 40 of them will. I need the people, and it seems cruel just to send half of them packing, just simply because they're sick. They will hopefully get better, although I don't think I have the infirmary space right now to account for all of them. Everyone is welcome. We couldn't have done it any other way. Please make yourselves useful, get to work. Okay, so we have 2 amputees, 3 people freezing, 40 people being treated. We also have 43 homeless and 15 extra sick, because now I keep thinking that's the hospital. Okay. Swing it around. Okay, so we should deal with the housing problem first, I guess. The bunkhouse will fit 10 people, so I need 5 bunkhouses. So 1. I should also make certain that they're within range of a guardhouse. Going to dismantle the street. Put the street here, so that way the bunkhouse is closer. 2, so that's what, 3 bunkhouses? And I'm actually out of steel, so I can't make any more bunkhouses. So we're gonna have to do something dramatic, I guess, and make 2 of them tents. Because I just don't have the... People need some form of shelter, and I don't have the metal to build adequate housing, so we'll go with tents for now, and as soon as we get the metal, they're getting upgraded. Put streets all around through here. Of course, that also means I probably don't have enough metal to build a new infirmary. Which means 15 people aren't getting treated the way they need to be. Yeah, I need 20 steel for the infirmary. And I'm also going to need 10 steel for each bunkhouse, so I'm going to need 40 steel, plus probably another child shelter, so 45 steel. the plus side, I now have enough people to actually get everything up and running, even if people are currently sick and having management issues. What's wrong with this one? Oh, we actually maxed out rations. I also need more steel for gathering huts. Goody. As well as steel for the steam hubs. Alright, so it stinks, yes, but it's better than nothing.
Workday end. It's time for rest.
Tell me how many children not in shelter. 19. 1 second. Yeah, so I'm going to need 2 more child shelters because I can't fit all the kids now. Heating problems, cold workplaces. I'd like to, I'm working on it. I won't address this right now simply because I can't keep people warm. I would like to keep people warm. I would love to keep people warm. But I can't keep them warm. Mainly because I don't have the resources to build more heating elements. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to move the automaton, or automation, to the steelworks. Because the robot don't care if it's freezing or not. Second group of refugees, 28 children. Goody. So it seems like things will actually be getting worse before they get better. Of course, that seems to be par for the course for this game. I thought it would be a couple hours, but it looks like next day it'll drop to -70, and then 3 days later it'll drop to -80. Because this game just likes to mess with you in that way. Why are people hungry? We got plenty of food. For once, I actually have plenty of food. I probably have actually, if this stuff ever gets fully cooked, I probably have enough food, more food than I have people to eat it. For once, which is surprising. So with the automation, working in the steel mill, I'm slowly getting 2.4 units of metal or steel per hour. Mild frostbite, severe frostbite. That's not good. Now I have 3 amputees. We also have 32 sick, well, 34 sick not being treated. And I don't have the ability to care for any of them. They're all probably going to die. I did still leave the care house available, so the gravely ill will probably be, at least the amputated people, will probably be able to be sheltered and not take up hospital space. The workers, these are the patients. It's yeah, I need like twice as many infirmaries. Send out a patrol. Said send out a patrol. So people are hopeful, but rather annoyed. They have a right to be. Come along until they get here. Oh, more refugees. They'll be here tomorrow. Now it's what, 70 more people? Yeah, 70 more people. And the temperature has fallen even further. So let's get a steam hub here. Steam hub here. Keep everybody nice and warm. And we're out of coal yet again. So the generator shut. It got colder, and now the generator is shutting down.
Come, lads. We must work harder.
Otherwise, we die. Oh goody, the steam thumper is finished. One thing I do take issue with is that if we run out of coal, all the heaters shut down and they have to be manually turned back on. So I need 25 steel for the steam hub, for the steam coal thumper. And I'm assuming, yeah, I can just build it on the existing thumper. Okay, so now that that's done being researched, I should probably research something else. Let's pause so I can look at things. So we can get the gathering post. Actually, I can't do any research because I don't have enough steel to research anything. Because everything on tier 2 requires 20 steel. Yeah, everything requires 20 steel, and right now, steel or the lack thereof seems to be my major drawback. So I need to look into getting more steel. Steel workshop. I mean, the only place I can actually get steel in Crater is right here. I mean, technically, I do have, should have, might still have, possibly, I don't know. Yeah, I still have this steel wreckage, which is good for 60 units of steel, but it's out in the middle of nowhere and it's negative 70, so I'm not about to send people out to it. On the plus side, I only really need 25 wood to build this steam. The steel mill. Couldn't remember what it was. So we'll get them to build that, as well as a road to it. Alright, so we now have 15 steel to our name. And I could not for the life of me remember what I needed to build. So I needed 2 bunkhouses, 2 child shelters, which is actually 30, and infirmary, which requires 20 steel. Because yeah, that number's not going down. Also, everybody's cold, and I don't have the means of increasing. I mean, I do have the means. I could actually jack this team up to level 2, but that would eat into the coal, and I'm not producing enough coal to satisfy that demand. Which was the whole point of the Steam Thumper to begin with. So let's actually put more. Wait, what was that? That's more coal. Yes. I think that was just another coal mine. Could put another coal mine out here, but I don't. Yeah, that doesn't reach all that far. Mild frostbite. Someone else has become gravely ill. And someone else had to be amputated. Someone else had to have a limb amputated. So now up to 4 amputees. Because everywhere is cold and I can't keep them warm. Now what? Cold in the cells. Sir, one of the prisoners is complaining about the cold in the cell. He claims it's torture and is inciting other inmates to protest. His disrespect towards the wardens is a bad example to others. It's a prison, not an inn. Hope will fall slightly, or give him an extra blanket. Discontent will rise slightly. Well, you know, if you didn't want to be in prison, you shouldn't have broken the law. And I would like to keep everybody warm. I am working on it. But hope is higher than discontent is lower, so let's take the hope hit. Besides, it's a prison. He's not. I was going to say he's not supposed to be comfortable, and that number's just increasing. I'm just churning through people, aren't I? I almost forgot, we could also pass another law. So we have the Book of Purpose. Let's go back. The Book of Adaptation, which is our starting book of laws, which gives us various extra abilities like emergency shift, ceremonial funerals, triage, you know, the basics of civilization. Prostitute houses of pleasure, which is basically, how do I put this succinctly? You know what, it's a mature rated game, so I don't have to put it succinctly. It's a prostitution house. Basically, it's a law that legalizes prostitutes. Can't talk anymore. So I can either do that. So we need to do, so in the Book of Adaptation, you can either do House of Pleasure, Dueling Law, Emergency Shift. Say something over here, but that's outlawed. Ceremonial funerals or triage. Conversely, in addition to the Book of Adaptation, I also have the Book of Purpose, because back when we needed to, I opted to put my faith in order as opposed to accepting the order of faith. So we are going with the militaristic-ish type state, and so the options here are forceful persuasion, where explain to inmates the enormity of their wrongdoings is a more direct manner and return them to society faster. It will give the ability of forceful persuasion, reduces prisoners' speed in prison, well, reduces time prisoners spend in prison, actually was there. Prisoners may get hurt or killed, and discontent will rise. Conversely, I could also go with Pledge of Loyalty, where people make mistakes, where it can give them a chance to redeem themselves If they agree to cooperate, of course, after introducing this law, another one can be to pass in a day and a half. People will be persuaded to sign a pledge of loyalty, which will turn them into secret informers. This will provide a permanent hope bonus. Discontent will rise slightly. And one or more would get me access to whatever on fire thing this is. And then we also have the agitator, which is strategically placed loudspeakers to remind our citizens of the importance of their work and increase their efficiency. Introducing this law, another can be passed in a little over 2.5 days. New building, the amplifier, agitator, raises the efficiency of nearby workplaces by 20%. You have to build 3 agitators, and they require 10 wood and 10 steel, of which I need more steel, so I'm going to pass on that. And we're going to die sooner rather than later, probably. So let's pass ceremonial funerals, which those who give their lives in service to the city deserve the highest honor. We'll give our dead ceremonial funerals to inspire the living. After introducing this law, and pass one another a day and a half. And loss of hope caused by death is halved, given the fact it's only going to get colder, and I have, what, a quarter of the city sick and untreated because I don't have the ability to build more hospitals? We're going to assign that because I have a feeling people will die sooner rather than later. Because the last time I had numbers this high, they stopped being sick the bad way.
They all died.
Next question. Steel. Not enough for 2 bunkhouses. Alright, so refugees from the Frostlands, the second wave. Another huge group of refugees has arrived. They're in even worse condition than the previous one, many of them victims of frostbite. I'll talk about a huge storm coming from the south. Nansen led us north because his years exploring the Arctic taught him to survive using natural resources. Nobody could have guessed what was coming, though. Should we let them in? Everybody's welcome. 70 people, 25 of them ill, 25 gravely ill, and discontent will rise. Only the healthy ones, which means we get 20 new people, or send them on their way. It means I'm going to have to shelter them, aren't I? Some decisions are about the lesser of 2 evils. Let them all in. Maybe in military dictatorship, but we're going to be a benevolent military dictatorship. And I don't have enough for bunkhouses, so guess who's getting tents? Guess who everybody's getting a tent? Because honestly, it beats being homeless. 1, 2, 3, 4, is that 5? Make that 6. Hopefully that's in a heat zone. If not, we're going to have issues. Oh, we now have over 100 people sick. On the plus side, we now have enough people to feed the gathering huts, although we probably also need... I need 40 steel for a hunter's hangar. But not for a hunter's hut. Probably going to need more food as well. And for now, I still got plenty of wood, so... I mean, we do have a relatively okay-ish stockpile of food. I mean, not enough to feed all the rations, but that's mostly, I think, because we ran out of storage capacity. Can I build the steam thumper yet? No. Need 2 more steel. Oh, I actually forgot this thing. And I'm guessing, yeah, this is group number 3. Comprised of engineers and workers. 60 survivors, they'll be here tomorrow. Now what? Can't even click on the thing. Freezing homes. I can't heat every home. I'm trying to. Like, not everybody has the home. So I need to start heating 13 cold homes within 2 days and keep them heated for 2 days. I need to, or I could start heating 27 homes, keep them heated for 3 days, which is basically all the homes. I could disperse the crowd, or I won't address this right now. I have a feeling dispersing the crowd will tick them off. Disperse the crowd for now, given the fact that the other option, discontent, would rise. The real ceremony is starting at the cemetery. Did we lose somebody again? I'm guessing we did. Get a factory? I can get a factory. It requires... I have enough for the steam thumper, so let's build that. Well, at least everybody's no one's homeless now. What was that? More frostbite. More amputees. Okay, got it. One of our people have died. I'm guessing due to the cold. Death from cold, sir. The prisoner who complained about the cold was found dead. I see. Bad. There's always tomorrow to look forward to. Discontent grows slowly. Alright, well, let's combat that to lower discontent. Cold at home, bad food, overcrowded medical facilities, freezing at home, bad healthcare, cold at work. Much as I would want, that's a good spot for an infirmary. Okay, we're quickly backing into these coal piles. So what I'm going to do, probably a bad idea to do so, but we're going to have the spare engineers that we don't need. To gather as much coal from here as they possibly can. Because if I start building over them, it's going to destroy it, and I need more coal. Sooner rather than later. Try to keep this up to... Okay, so if I now keep it up to 2, I would technically still be making a surplus. Barely a surplus with everybody's heater on. Not that I need a heater for this thing because it's being run by the automaton, automation. I keep wanting to call it by the wrong kind of name.
I don't think there really is a difference. It's just spelling, actually.
On that note, let's start replacing the tents with bunkhouses. Because they offer more insulation. Cold Thumper is actually comfortable. If we could just have people live in their work centers if they're going to be better off than the houses. Alright, so I don't have anything to be researched, but that's because I need the steel for buildings. Especially given the fact I'm going to have more people coming in about 2 hours. Frostbite. So, the plan, if we survive long enough to do so, is to get enough steel to upgrade all the tents that I've built and will be building when these guys finally arrive in about an hour. Half an hour. To bunkhouses. After that, to research and hopefully build a factory. To build enough prosthetics to get... The third wave has arrived. To build enough prosthetics to get the amputees back into the workforce, and then build child shelters to protect all the children. So a third group of refugees is here. They're on the verge of collapse, exhausted by their journey and by tending to the gravely ill and injured with them. The leader, Nansen, isn't among them. We are evacuating everyone we can, but many stay behind with those who are too ill to travel. Nansen among them. God have mercy on us all. The Great Frost is The Great Frost is coming. Shall we let them in? So everyone's welcome. 60 people, 50 of them gravely ill. Discontent will rise considerably. Only the healthy ones, which means 10 people will enter, and discontent will rise slightly and hope will fall, or send them on the way where hope will fall. Okay, I don't exactly remember how much discontent I have, because where it says will rise considerably has me worried. I have more hope than discontent, but I'm making it a policy of not turning people away. I mean, if the Londoners ever come back, they're always welcome. So let's welcome everybody in. So that wasn't bad. What looms ahead? Sir, now we can clearly see what refugees we're running from. The Great Frost is coming. The Great Frost is coming. We have to prepare. Our scientists say they can calculate the severity of the storm from observations. They just need a day or two to prepare their instruments and install them in the beacon. Okay, so what's that mean? Just make yourselves useful. Discontent's lower. Of course, now I have to... Oh, somebody died. Scouts have reached the fishing village. Storm and city readiness. Research project stereoscopic lenses. Okay, so... 9 more tents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Need roads. Lots of roads. Everybody gets a road. Seriously, everything's getting roaded. I'd say eroded, but that's the wrong kind of a road. But everybody's getting is dealing with erosion. Let's call it that. Okay, anywhere not eroded? There. Also here. Yeah, those places are good. Okay, so we now have a whopping 405 people in the city. Discontent is dropping for some reason. of which over half of them are sick and ill. Well, the cold thumper, for some reason, is practically comfortable. Can I just have... Oh wait, no, it dropped back to negative 50 degrees Celsius. When did the temperature increase? Let's see, why is everything suddenly warm? Of course, you know, we're burning through coal now, but everybody's apparently warm. I don't get it. I could have sworn it... Well, temperature will rise significantly, so it must have just changed. Like, literally, right now. Alright, so half the people are sick. That's probably where the person who passed away was from. So let's put the engineers here. Let's stop gathering coal here. And what I should have done, rather than just having people out and about just gathering resources, is to, not the resource depot. Like, I should probably build one of those. God knows I'm hitting maximums for everything. I should have built a gathering post. Of course, the gathering post will only hit one thing of coal. If I put it all the way back here, I think that would sit on a It's only temporary, so I'll go and worry about building a steam hub. Alright, so... That's weird. Seems slightly off for some reason. Alright, so the scouting team has arrived at the fishing village. Hot spring keeps a tiny patch of steam free from freezing here. Sorry, I read that wrong. Again. A hot spring keeps a tiny patch of sea from freezing here. The Americans used this opportunity to set up a fishing village. It's deserted now. Search the area. This fishing village used to supply Tesla City with food. Searching it, found a letter. Mike, don't return to the city. Tesla is a madman. He cast out all the amputees, all the sick. Jerry's parents and old Beth are among them. There will be blood, that's for sure, and soon. The village was left in order. You could send a team here to start fishing. So if I leave the village intact, only resources found on site will be taken. We'll be able to build an outpost here later. And I'll get 2 steam cores. We'll dismantle the huts for wood. We'll retrieve plenty of resources, but lose the chance to build an outpost here. I'm assuming the exclamation point means that I won't be able to build an outpost, but I'll get the same, still the same 2 steam cores and 275 units of wood. I think I'm actually good on wood, and you know what? Unlike the automated coal mine, because I needed extra steam cores for something else, for pretty much everything else. So I dismantled the coal facility, the automated coal mine, which would have given us extra coal if we were to build an outpost there, but we can't now because I took it apart. A lot of the choices in this game are, do I gain an immediate benefit for a long-term loss, or take a long-term gain for, or do I give up a short-term benefit for better rewards further down the line, hopefully. So you know what? Let's leave the village intact for now. I don't need to know if I'm going to need more food. So if this is Tesla City, what is the walled colony? As much as I want the steam cores back in the city, let's actually send the scouts there. Because I thought the walled colony was Tesla City. So I guess right now it's literally the calm before the storm, per se. Yeah, so it's going to, in about 2 days, it's going to drop back down to -70, and then 2 days later, it'll rise up to one level to be -60, where I'm assuming it's going to stay. So I have until then to get enough infirmaries built to house all my sick and dying, get all my, what, now dozen or so tents into bunkhouses, build more child shelters, figure out what's going on over here. What are these things? Ice crevasse. Against the stark white snow of the snow plateau, Against the dark white of the snow plateau, something stands out, a thin dark line. It's hard to tell from this distance what's to be found here. Where there's something, or a deep hollow, something odd about the landscape. Here, it looks like a shadow on the white plain to deepen towards the central point. Or a snow burrows. We can see several small mounds in the distance. Nothing stirs on the white plain surrounding them. We also have an outpost at Winterhome, which would give us 150 wood every day. And the snow cliff, where a tall snow cliff, there's a hole in it and it's inhabited. We can see a lone figure bustling about. Alright, so remember when I said original, and there's also the walled city that they're going to, the fishing village we were just at, and then Tesla City. A large settlement, numerous buildings are dimly visible through the shining dome of electrical discharge that is projected over the town. Do I want to know what that was? Probably not. So, remember when I said I only needed one scout team? It's gotten to the point where I don't think that's true anymore. Alright, so more sick beds needed. So, Captain, some of our people are concerned about the rising number of untreated sick. Yeah, I'm among them. Now, they're seeking you to address the problem. We'll open a new infirmary. I promise the sick will be treated. So, or I want to address this right now. So, I have 4 days to build a new infirmary. 3 days to admit 1/3 of the sick. Now, it would be nice if I could check to see exactly how many that is. But I want to address this right now. You know what? A new infirmary was on the books anyway. So, that's what? 224? What was it? What's a third of 124? 224. A third of 210 is 70. So figure about 80 people. And I have a capacity of 60 beds, all of which are taken. As I can actually build a new infirmary, but I would need steam core. I need steam cores for the infirmary. Let's put this out here. Of course, now I'm out of wood. Line it with roads. And as soon as I get 12 steel, I should build a steam hub around it. Well, discontent's lower than it used to be, so that's, I guess, good. And we're actually almost maxing out on coal again. How much does it say? 12 hours left. And somebody died. So I'm actually running a deficit on coal again. Because the automation is no longer working the coal mine, so it's now outside of the workday, so people aren't doing anything right now. What's this? Abuse of power, guard station. Sir, an unpleasant accident has happened. One of our guards was insulted by a prisoner, so he hit the offender with his baton, knocking the man out. People are angry and demand you punish the guard. So I can banish him, when the person will leave the city forever, discontent will fall. Punish him, discontent will fall slowly, or leave him be, hope will fall. I feel like this has modern day connotations. Alright, well, we're not going to abandon him, and just hitting somebody isn't worth banishment. But I'm not going to leave him alone. Let's see how he likes the prison from the other side of the walls. Oh, it's paused. Why is nothing happening? So I have 4 days to build a new infirmary, and it's going to get done in 2 hours. Sadly, the tents will probably take, well, that's actually going to be 1 hour, 4 hours, less than an hour, but that's that gathering post. So we need more people for here. Next out. Alright, so 22 people are now homeless. 12 people are now homeless. Alright, so hopefully they'll clear this area, these 2 coal piles out before the temperature drops again in about a day, so that way I can just deconstruct this gathering hut. And healthcare promise fulfilled. Hope rises. Slightly, but I'll take it. On the plus side, all the Gravelio are now taken care of, so now I only have to deal with 175 sick people. Which I am making wood. I am harvesting wood. 4 people are hungry. And it looks like we're actually running low on food. Running-ish low on food, I should say. And I don't have enough wood for a hunter's hut. Thinking I should research outposts next, or probably more scouts. What's this? Stereoscopic lenses. Advanced measuring instruments installed in the beacon will enable us to gauge the severity of incoming storms. So I need 100 wood and 100 steel. It's probably going to bite me in the butt because I'm fairly certain it's actually timed when the Great Frost is going to hit us. And it's probably best if I pay attention to it. But I need the steel for other things. Mostly bunkhouses, because it's going to get colder before it gets warmer. Continue on. So we're going to have 6 hours of coal left. And in about 6 hours, everybody's going to go back to work. Alright, so this is the beginning of the end. Storm is coming. When it reaches the city, there will be nothing more you can do but wait it out. Storm moves toward the city, destroying and killing everything on its way, including any outpost teams and scouts caught in the Frostland. Bring with the extreme cold, which render some facilities inoperative. The city has to be well prepared to survive this natural disaster. Storm is coming. When it reaches the city, there will be nothing more you can do but wait it out. There's been research. Time until the end of the storm will be shown on the panel. Okay, so the storm is coming. I don't know when it's going to get here. Unless that's it. Which might explain why the map was turned this way. So I'm guessing once the scout team gets to the walled colony, I'm gonna have them run back to the city. Because if it's coming this way, they're in the way. Which means I don't know how quickly that's going to get here. Which means outposts are probably a bad idea at this point. I mean, they are probably a good idea. I will probably need the resources. But if it's going to kill everybody not in the city, and if, like, say, that's a day, like tomorrow it's going to be here, and then the day after that here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then here, building outposts is probably no longer a viable option. Which means that once the scout team heads to the walled colony, they're going to book it back to the city. And then, depending upon how quickly the storm gets here, I'm going to have them hit these local areas. Then after that, they're heading back. Hopefully, I can get them back to the city before the storm hits them and they die. Something tells me after that, it's basically... I just realized something. If the storm front hits the city and everybody is stuck inside, forced to wait it out, the hunters probably won't be able to go for food. Which means the only food we're going to have available is from the hothouse. Which means I'm going to need to build more hothouses, which require steam cores. Which means... so they're already carrying 2 steam cores. The scouts are already carrying 2 steam cores with them. and I already have one. Which means I could build 3 hothouses maximum. How will we manage against that monstrosity? We won't survive this. Well, if not, then it'll be a funny story to tell your kids. Just go with it for right now. I don't want them scared. Of course, I guess that means the Londoners are also dead. Of course, we also have people who are hungry now. Of course, that means we should also probably stock up on resources. Of course, I need steel for that, and wood. I wish I had a second automation. My original... That's interesting. My original plan was to eventually get the factory, and
No time to waste. We've got work to do.
well, fudge. Up it back down to 1. We don't have the coal to waste. As I was saying, build automations to run all the outlying factories, like these coal mines, the steel mills, and the wall drills. But if they're not going, but automations require steam cores, and if the steam cores, and I can't build steam cores, so any steam cores that I get, I either have to beg, borrow, and steal, or just outright find, have the scout teams outright find from places in the Frostlands. And if my thinking is correct, where the hunters won't be able to get food, then I'm going to need every steam core that I can get for hothouses. In fact, let's actually use the one we got left for the hothouse. Coal pile depleted. That is good to know. Also put a steam hub right here to keep the infirmary and the hothouse warm. Because you would think a greenhouse would be insulated against the cold, but in this game it isn't. Oh, we can also pass a new law. Let's go with emergency shift. Allows us to have a work shift be extended for 24 hours, increasing discontent. Yes, I fully intend for them to only be used for emergencies. Or, you know, just to get more coal, because stuff's going to happen. Alright, so if the storm's coming and it's going to remove our ability to actually you know what, let's not research anything now and work on just getting the bunkhouses built. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 bunkhouses built. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have taken apart that fishing village. Although as a flat upgrade, it actually only costs 12 wood. Yeah, I know we're out of wood. We're always running out of something. send out a guard patrol to lower discontent. I was going to say, and send out propaganda flyers, but we require 10 wood, and I need the wood for building bunkhouses, because it's going to get colder before it's going to get warmer. So after yeah, that's actually significant grouping. The scouts may not actually be able to explore further after they get to the walled city. In fact, that may actually be a death sentence. Although they're a little over 2 hours to the walled city. And they'll be heading in the right direction to get away from the Great Frost. So after I manage to upgrade everything to a bunkhouse, probably shouldn't build the factory. Although it would allow me to get the empties out. Oh, good. Gathering post is no longer needed, so we're going to level that. And dismantle this street. Scouts have reached the Exile Colony. Exodus Colony, numerous snow shelters expertly built from blocks of hard-packed snow huddle around cold, burned-out campfires. Deathly silence hangs over the colony. Survivors. Alright, so Exile Colony, dying exiles. Some of exiles are still alive, just barely. We could bring them to our city, although they might die on the way. One of the dying held a diary to his chest. We read the last entry. Exiled from Tesla City with food and fuel running out. We sent the strongest among us to search for help. They're our last hope. Afraid this refers to these 4 Yankees we buried. Okay, so I'm beginning to like Tesla City less and less, but a storm is coming of epic proportions. And it's in the wrong direction for my scouts to say anything. So we can escort the exiles to the city, which would give us... set out towards the city and bring the exiles quickly and safely with them. Give us 7 children, 18 engineers, and 35 workers. Leave the exiles to their fate. Scouts will abandon the dying exiles to their fate, which means they probably die. And rob the exiles of their supplies. Scouts will rob the dying and leave them to die. Dying exiles and leave them to die. We'll get 110 steel, 115 wood, and I'm assuming everybody dies. Can we take the resources and the people with them? I'm just saying, gather up everything we possibly can and just take everybody back. No, that's not an option. It should be an option. I would like that option. I would choose that option. I mean, goodness knows, I need the resources. But I'm choosing people over stuff any day. Escort them back to the city. We took the exiles to the city. We pulled the dying exiles from the snow houses, prepared them for the journey to our city. Some of them stirred from their deathbed, death-like slumber to bless their absent friends for bringing help. We couldn't tell them the truth, not yet. Cool. Get back to the city. And they'll be back in a day and 3 hours. Hopefully they'll beat out the storm. Hopefully we can all beat out the storm. Hopefully anyone can beat out the storm. Because if this is bad, you know, it dropping to -70 is bad, and that is worse than bad, I'm not entirely certain we'll be winning this. But that is another issue for another day, because I'm calling it here. Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.